This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe classified series Zarana. Zarana here is a member of the Dreadnoks. She's also the sister to Zartan. She has a twin by the name of Xandar. Now, back in the original G.I. Joe series of figures, uh, her and her two siblings had a very special feature, which was in the sunlight, their skin turned green. They did not, however, do that with the uh, updates, which is kind of unfortunate. According to Wikipedia, she actually has the name Zoe, which is not actually something that was on her file card, and I'm not sure when they gave her that name. But I did look up one of her retro file cards back from the 80s. Zarana is a professional assassin who gains access to her victims through skillful acting and masterful use of makeup and disguise. While her brother Zartan concentrates on the purely physical aspects of disguise, Zarana works from the method actor's point of view to completely become the object of her impersonation, to think, feel, and react like another person. She is an expert in small arms, explosives, and edged weapons. Like her two brothers, she has the ability to change skin color. Quote, Zarana could have been a brilliant career on the professional stage if the evil in her nature hadn't been so strong. She throws tantrums, cuts ahead on lines, and never leaves a tip. She posed as an oral hygienist for 6 months on one assignment, armed only with a reel of specially coated dental floss to incapacitate her unwitting victims. She escaped dressed as a granny lady, hobbling on a walker, right past the cops and into a cab. The cabbie remembered her. She didn't leave a tip. So there's some background on our girl Zarana here. What's kind of interesting to note is that unlike most of the other classified figures, her artwork tends to be more anime inspired. The only other figure I've seen like that is CoverGirl, who is also supposed to be a makeup artist and master of disguise. And of course, there's the boring G.I. Joe card back. Let's go ahead and open her up. You know, I will say this. It is kind of too bad that they didn't give us a special Dreadnought background for Zarana. Because when you think about it, I mean, eventually we'll get Xandar. We've got Zartan. I think we got like 3 releases of Zartan. Regular classified, uh, San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and then a retro card back one. Which, again, it would have been nice if they just created a Dreadnought background. But anyway, let's see if we can get her out. And her hair comes off. So let's just take a quick look here. Zarana actually comes with 2 hair pieces, a more modern hairstyle, and one that's designed to look more like her vintage figure did. Both of them fit on her head, and she has got a scowl going on there. This kind of reminds me of a pompadour. I will say I do definitely have a preference for the more modern hairstyle on her. We'll go ahead and take a look at her articulation. Like most G.I. Joe figures, she's got the joint at the neck, also at the head a ball joint. Does not have like the hinge that some of them have. Her arms go up and down. Her shoulder pauldron here kind of like gets in the way though for the up. She's got the hinge here. This is actually like glued into her shoulder piece though. And it looks like her arm wants to come loose, to be honest. We got the double jointed elbow. Her hand has the up and down hinge and can spin around. She's got the upper torso articulation here, the ab crunch. She's, of course, got the waist joint. We've got the drop hips for added articulation. Thigh cut. Which is really hard to move. Her knee bends in a double joint. And, of course, the boot cut. And on the boot, we have just the added knee pad for protection, or for if she decides to knee somebody in the nareds. Got a hinge on the foot and it spins around. She also has stirrup? No. I know it's for horse riding and I can't think of what it's called right now. She also got a nice butt. Unfortunately, as has been the recent tradition in figures, they basically removed her breasts more or less. They don't really exist. Um, I don't know. I wonder. Yeah, it looks like all the shape too is just in the clothing. It does not look like there's actually anything underneath there. I might have to try taking one of these apart. Since I got her on clearance, I already have another one. I might just do that. Because I know with some of the Fortnite figures that Hasbro's put out, they don't have the the bodies are shaped in the outer clothing and not the actual body of the figure. Weapon wise, she has a machine gun with an attached rotary saw, basically. Got a clip that we can put in there. I know that the main purpose of these clips is basically for, if you want to display them, you can show the figures putting the clips in place, but I'm not a big fan of that. I don't ever do that. Would have been cool though if the blade spun on here, but it doesn't. Um, to be honest, if you see a picture of her original weapon, it looks a lot more wicked than this one because I think it's got a bunch of separate larger blades. She comes with a stiletto dagger, which fits in her sheath on her side. Pretty, well, an okay fit. It's kind of loose when you put it in there. She also has this thing, which it looks almost like a flintlock with a blade on it. So I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a knife or a gun, or if somebody played too many Final Fantasy games when they were a kid. But it fits inside of her backpack, like so. Now, let's bring in some hair from Lady J, shall we? So we have a few different characters who are covert operations, disguised people. So you think, hey, I bet you they went ahead and tried to make the hair compatible. You would think wrong. Because, of course, Lady J's hair does not fit properly on Zarana's head. It doesn't really reach proper here. I mean, from this side, it looks okay. From this side, not so much, and you kind of see where it's out of position. Same thing with Lady J. Ugh. You can kind of see here where the hair doesn't quite match up. You can almost get like a side of it like that, but even that still kind of looks awkward. And then, of course, when you get back over here, it doesn't fit. This is like this is what drives me crazy. Seriously, why the Hasbro design team isn't like trying to make more of the things more compatible? Because again, as a master of disguise, it would be kind of nice to be able to like just throw the hair on there, have it look good, or even separate characters. Because if they're not going to give us the extra heads to swap around, the least they could do is have made the hair compatible with all the different heads that have the swappable hair. And I know we have an upcoming Baroness figure, um, who was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, the one with the Crimson Commander set, or whatever they want to call it, where she too will have, like, I think she has two different heads and three different hair pieces. Maybe it's three different heads and three different hair pieces. Or maybe it's three heads and two hair. I don't remember. But again, it's one of those things where it'd be great to be able to swap stuff around. And when you look at it, and unfortunately, I don't have any of the Cobra Valkyries with me. Actually, in this case, you could swap heads with the Cobra Valkyries, and you could have Zarana dressed in a standard Cobra uniform, which I may actually do in the future, because when you can find them on clearance, you can justify doing a lot more with the figures than when you're paying full price with them. And I have ordered an extra head for her before, because I thought that at the time that I got those, I thought maybe the heads would be compatible with some of the Fortnite ones, because you've got like characters like Lynx and that big teddy bear thing, where you would think you might be able to swap the heads and create a brand new figure. And you kind of can if you're willing to actually like modify the pegs a bit more. But that's a whole nother story that we'll discuss at another time. Overall, though, I think Zarana actually is a beautiful figure, aside from, you know, them giving her a B cup uh, instead of her previous, like, seated E cup. What do you want? I was just wondering, if you're not doing anything, are you serious? Well, yeah, I just thought maybe you might want to go out. We could get dinner, see a movie, make out a bit. Ugh. Look, Tunnel Rat, I'm sure you're a nice guy, but I have a thing for computer geeks. So, no. Oh, boom! Anyway, so tired of being hit on. But that'll conclude our look at the G.I. Joe classified Zarana figure. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and love.